Hi, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. My name is Michelle McIntyre. I'm the Placer County LAFCO Executive Officer, and I'm today's hearing officer. So on September 13th, 2023, LAFCO conditionally approved the Village 5 and Village 7B project consisting of the annexation of the territory to the city of Lincoln and the detachment of that territory from County Service Area 28. Subject to a protest hearing. So as part of the commission's approval of LAFCO resolution number 23-07, the commission delegated to me, its executive officer, the performance of all protest hearing requirements. So the notice of this protest hearing was published in the Lincoln News Messenger on October 5th, 2023. And on the same date, individual notices were mailed to all affected landowners and registered voters within the annexation territory. The notice was also posted on LAFCO's website. So affected landowners and registered voters were able to submit protest ballots beginning on October 5th, and I will continue to collect protest ballots until the conclusion of today's hearing. So detailed information about today's hearing and possible outcomes are included in the staff report, which was distributed to you. And there's also some here by the speaker desk. So, and it was also available on our website. So there are 106 registered voters within the proposal area. Therefore, 53 or more of the protest ballots must be valid for the commission to terminate the project. As of earlier today, I have received 68 ballots from registered voters. 3 ballots were ineligible because the voters were not registered to vote within the proposal area. However, I submitted 65 registered ballots to the Placer County Registrar of Voters for their review and verification. And if I receive more ballots before the close of this hearing, I will submit those ballots to ROV staff, which they're here and they'll introduce themselves and talk a little bit about the process because we have received several questions about signature verification. Okay, and on the other side of the equation, so as of today, we've also received 25 ballots, and I'm told that there was one submitted just a few minutes ago. But combined, the total value of the land from the 25 landowners is $3,486,193, or approximately 8% of the total valuation. So as noted in the staff report, the total valuation for the proposal area is $43,339,729 as of the 2022-2023 assessment roll. So in other words, it's not close to the 25% or the 50% threshold, unlike the registered voters. So at this time, before I open the public comments, I just wanted to introduce Ryan Ronco and his staff with the Placer County Register of Voters. Take it away.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Michelle. Yes, Ryan Ronco, your Clerk Recorder Registrar of Voters. With me is Philip Chantry, the Elections Manager for Placer County, and Richard Wu, who is our IT Supervisor, so that we can be connected to our voter registration database. To talk a little bit about the signature verification process. We in the elections office verify signatures all day, every day when it comes to election time. And that's every signature on every envelope, on every ballot that's submitted during an election, if somebody votes a vote by mail ballot. So literally we've looked at hundreds of thousands of signatures over our lifetime. We are also trained by a forensic document examiner retired from the FBI. And that's not just Philip and I, but also all of our staffers who look at signatures. So we do have a background in being able to verify signatures so that they can be able to count in elections. And so that process, if anybody, by the way, wants to watch that during a regular election, that process is public. So you're always welcome to come and watch and see how we verify signatures when it's election time. And we would certainly encourage you to come down and watch it. It's very interesting. So I'll turn it back over to you unless or until you want us to talk about what we found as far as verifying signatures.
Sure. No, I think that will work, and then I'll open the public comments.
Sure. So as was mentioned, we had 65 protest ballots for us to review. 64 passed signature verification, 1 did not. So we're standing right now at 64 registered voter protest ballots that we received.
Okay, perfect. So at this time, I'll open the hearing for public comments. You may provide comments, submit protest ballots, or withdraw any previously filed ballots. As a reminder, please keep your comments to approximately 3 minutes. And if you can just come up to the podium or to the speaker podium, that would be helpful.
I appreciate that. I'd like that.
Do you mind coming up to the podium so we can hear?
I don't wish to hold back your public comment session or period, but as you're going through the ballots, you keep discussing registered voters, but you also have a clause in the notice and the minutes regarding landowners who may not be registered voters in the county. Could you explain how those will be incorporated? Or they will be considered?
Right, it's
Thank you.
actually 2 different groups. So I like to explain it to people as 2 different buckets. So the first bucket is all the registered voters. So you know that could include landowners, but it could include people that rent, or perhaps you know, for example, my children, right? They live at home, so anyone who's registered to vote. So that's who is in that bucket. In the second bucket, and just as important, and they count equally, is the landowners, which is weighted by land value. So it's land value, not land plus improvement. And so you must be able to be, for a project to move on to the next phase, you must be under 25% for LAFCO to approve the project, both in the landowner bucket and also in the registered voter bucket. So if you have between 25 and under 50% registered voters, then it goes to an election. And so in this situation where we are already over 50%, and again, anyone can pull their ballots up until the close of the hearing.
Okay.
And you may submit ballots, right, up until the close of the hearing.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Oh, the doors to the building are locked. Okay, thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, the public hearing period is open if anyone would like to speak, and just come on up.
Yeah, good afternoon, Albert Schreiber. This has been kind of a busy few months with the LAFCO process on this, and we would just like to, my family and I would like to thank Miss Engel and Miss McIntyre for your patience and all our questions. Never-ending questions for you about the process and so on and so forth. So we thank you. You're doing a great job, Michelle. And also, as we went through this, this last part of this process, you know, we found a lot of our neighbors that have already have a deal with Richland or another developer, and we just want to say that we don't have a problem with that. You know, from day one, we've said Richland can do whatever they want with their property. We just want them to leave everybody else alone. And that goes for any of our neighbors that, you know, want to do something with their property. We don't have to take issue with that at all. That being said, you know, we want to thank all of our neighbors, friends, and family that have stuck with us over the last 6 years, I guess, or more through this whole thing, and especially the last few months. We've met a lot of new people, new neighbors that we'd never met before, and so we appreciate all their support. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Connie Scheiber in Lincoln. My husband stole some of my thunder. I do want to thank our friends and family and neighbors for graciously taking time to talk to us, regardless of which side of this issue they're on. We feel that each family should make a decision that's right for their family. And also, you know, we told back when we repeatedly said and shown a way that Richland and the city could annex the property they want to annex without sucking in the rest of us that didn't want to be. You know, there were ways to go about it without doing what ended up happening. Again, I'd like to thank Michelle McIntyre and Amy Engel for answering my questions, because I was the one that was calling nonstop. I'd like to thank Sarah, and I think his name was Dylan at elections, because I hit them up with an awful lot of questions too, and they had a ton of patience for me, and were very, very gracious in answering those. And to the LAFCO commissioners, regardless of which way, which we kind of sort of know, of which way tonight's results go, I hope the next time they take the time to listen carefully to the residents that are in the annexation area. As I just said, there were ways to do it without pulling everybody in, and I think it would have been a lot less heartache for everybody involved if they had stuck to their own property and not involved those of us that didn't want it. Thank you.
Ms. Scheiber, thank you for your nice comments. Do you have 1 second? I need to. Thanks.
I am Sharon Ross McDaniel. My father bought the property on Nicholas Road over 60 years ago, and we have been running Ross Hay Ranch on that property for 60 years. When this project started, we were promised that we would be part of the Rockwell Lane Heritage Area, where the actions of the annexation would not impact our way of life. And I don't know where the parcel numbers, we have 021-380-001 and 002. I don't know how you allowed us to be switched over to the area of annexation, but we continually ask you to stand by your promises and leave us in that Rockwell Lane heritage property. We are right on the west end. For a minute there, you put our homestead on one side of the annex and our acreage on the other. And so in September, we wrote in and said, no, you can't split our property. We want it to be one piece like it's always been. And we've always farmed, and we want that right to farm to continue. And that's what we were promised. I'm asking you to stand by those promises and put our properties back in that Rockwell Lane heritage property, so we continue to have the right to farm. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gene Thorpe. I've been neighbors with the Schreiber family for 40 years and lived in Lincoln. I'm a past president of the Placer Association of Realtors, the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. And I think that, and actually I was even a project manager, early project manager of Lincoln Crossing. But I'm here on behalf of the Scheibers. If you guys have ever really looked at their ranch and seen what happened in the development of the city of Lincoln with their ranch and the struggle that they've been through, we just want to go on record as being part of, the people that would like to hold off this annexation for now and see if there might be a better way of doing it. You guys have seen what have happened in the Bay Area and with these ag overlays. It's just not, there's not enough emphasis on the future. So thank you for listening to me very much.
Good evening. I'm Lee McDaniel. You've heard from my wife a little bit earlier, but I thought I would add some things and maybe speak a little bit more government ease. I am a retired LAFCO commissioner. I'm also a retired county supervisor from another county. But we do have property here on the end of the Rockville-William community, as she explained. The purpose of the annexation that I see is for the city of Lincoln to facilitate the development of residential and city businesses, parks and recreation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in that area. As my wife has explained, we are a farm. We will always be a farm. There will be no development on our farm. And so really annexing us into the city's plans is really a waste of time because we will not change. In addition, I think it's the charge of the LAFCO commissioners and the executive officer to present projects to the city of Lincoln or any other jurisdiction that's looking for these kind of actions to provide them good, sound, and non-controversial projects. If this project continues with our property in the annexation, there will be controversy. And there will probably, and well, not probably, there will be legal action, and there will be expenses that will cost public money. And I hate seeing public money going to lawyers. I would much rather see it go for the public benefit. So please, as my wife said, honor the promises of keeping all of our properties in the Rockville Lane. And my time is up. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so I never got to say my piece after what went down the other night, a couple months ago. I was pretty upset. I felt the whole thing was, again, highly illegal, given the fact that LAFCO's own staff recommended against option 2, and yet we still went that way anyways, despite what case law says. Your own legal counsel wasn't even prepared for that and had to make something up on the fly that made no sense. It was gibbery gobbledygook as to the reason why Rockwell Lane was to be a problem to the annexation, other than the fact that we wouldn't vote that way. The fact we're even here tonight is ridiculous. Well, it would have been here tonight, but Rockwell Lane should have been included in that vote, and we would have soundly defeated this motion to be annexed into the city. It's by the skin of the teeth. I hope we still beat it. And if we do, I put a plea to the city of Lincoln and to Richland to please listen to us this time, and let's annex the properties that want to be in and not annex those that don't. Okay? It's really, I feel like we got run over roughshod because they thought they could and didn't want to listen to what we had to say. And if we win tonight, All I can say is neener, neener, pumpkin eater. And let's come to the table and let's talk like adults this time as equals, not because somebody has more money than the others. Thank you very much.
Oh. Sorry, we've never used this room before, so. Just give us a second. I'm sure it's here.
Don't know.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. My name is Byron Chapman. Commissioners, I've lived in Lincoln, 12, maybe 14 years now. I do not live out in the area where most of these folks live. I got involved in this. I like to know what's going on in the city in which I live, and I've been attending a lot of the council meetings since I came into town. And when this popped up on the radar several years ago, it caught my attention. Just for a moment, just appease me for a second here. If all three of you can simply close your eyes, and I want you to try to draw a picture. Picture yourself in the home in which you live right now. Whether you've been there a year, 5 years, 40 years. You like where you live. You're comfortable with it. Now, picture yourself with that same home way out in the country, because that was your goal. You wanted to be in the country. Whether it's farming, agriculture, enjoying whatever. You got your acreage, you're in the country. Now, all of a sudden, city comes in, they want to take your home. And when I say take your home, it doesn't necessarily mean that that house will disappear today or tomorrow. But at some point it will. Because 4,400 plus acres in the annexation is absolutely unbelievable for what the city wants to do with it. If you look at geographically, it actually moves its way from the city of Lincoln, not by a little, but by a lot. And for those who've already echoed the comments of saying, annex those who want to be and don't for those that don't. They moved out there for the intention of doing this. I don't see this as a trying to move that for, I could see if someone lived in the path of 65 before it came in, and then that had to be taken eminent domain. I don't see that here. And the last point I want to make is, in all of the time in the years that I've been going to the city council meeting, the city has yet to meet the standard of safety employees, police and fire, not by a little, but by a lot. And at one point on that basis for the state of California, the city of Lincoln was at the absolute end of the list. So my question is, if they can't do it now and they haven't done it in the last 10 years, what could you possibly get from the city to guarantee that that's going to happen with 4,400 acres? Thank you very much.
So if anyone online would like to make a comment, please raise your hand and Amy will unmute you. Oh, Susan, you're ready?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Just trying to find out what would be all the additional costs to the homeowners who are annexed in to the city. I mean, obviously additional taxes, I'm assuming, sewer and water. Could you just kind of define what those would be and what they would look like for us, please?
So this is the protest hearing. The commission has already approved the annexation with the condition that we hold the protest proceedings, which is today. So my task is just to receive the protest votes, the ballots, and receive public comments and then turn over the results to the commission for them to certify at their next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. How do I submit a protest tonight?
You may submit one here in person. It's probably too late because we, if you're not here, because we will close the hearing and that is the cutoff time. And as soon as everyone is done speaking, we will be closing the protest hearing.
Okay, because the letter I got said that you could submit a protest online.
You could email it, yes.
I can do that. I can do that now.
Are we able to check and print? Okay. We will check our email and print if you could sign the protest and send it in, and please complete it.
Okay, now, all of the information that they sent me did not have an actual protest letter to be signed. What is the email? Assuming I find it here, what is the email I send that to, please?
Is it the info? Good job. Just use you. So Aengle, AENGLE @placer.ca.gov. The form is on our website if you do not have it. On the homepage.
All right, thank you.
Daniel Rosinski. Oh,
Here we go. Thank you guys very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
yes.
Perfect. So I'd like to say the same kind of thing, that I moved away out of the city into the country. I have been fortunate enough to have been out there for 2 years at this particular point and love every minute of it. There's a reason that we did move out there. Much like some of the other consensus, I think that if Richland wants to be out there, I think they need to come to the table with a little bit better something else than they're doing now. If some of us want to be annexed into the city, great, deal with that. The rest of us that don't, I think that we should be able to be left alone. We should be able to continue the stuff that we are doing without any interruption in that. We shouldn't have to have restrictions put on us for that. The way that things are being presented to us are sketchy at best. If there's a way that the ag overlay can be put in permanently so it can never be removed, that might be good places to start. But I do think some better communication between Richland and the people out here, I think that needs to happen before anything else. I'm glad that as a community, we've all gotten together and to be able to show that we can make a difference with our votes. Thank you very much.
Lisa, if you could unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Right. I wanted to be there in person, but I couldn't because my back. But I live on Rockwell Lane. I'm a renter and I love it. I feel safe. And people all around, they help each other, all stuff. I don't see why Lincoln needs to pull us in. Like said prior, you guys don't even have enough police officers or anything else to protect us. Then with problems and the streets, they're awful. I mean, if this is the way that annexation looks like, I think you should leave Rockwell Lane and people alone because you can't do right. The streets, look, couldn't take a drive. A person with a very bad back, me, it's awful to go into downtown area. I have to sit on a cushion so I don't scream because it hurts my back so bad. And so you're bringing more in and you're supposed to be fixing things. It's just not going to happen. You guys don't have police force. You don't have the work. And I don't think you have the money. So please leave Rockwell alone. I love it there. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience or online? Okay, please come up.
Hello, Becky Laspina, 950 Nelson Lane in Lincoln. This is my husband's and my third attendance at a LAFCO meeting in regards to the annexation of Village 5. We're opposed the first meeting, opposed the second meeting, and opposed today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Tammy Lindstrom. I live on Nicholas Road across from the airport. And I just want to go on record that I'm opposed to this as well, in support of everyone that is opposed to this ag overlay. I don't think that that's the answer. And I hope that it doesn't pass. Thank you.
Hey, Francisco, Amy, do you mind? He's online. Thank you. I don't have controls. Francisco, if you could unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. I live on Nicholas Road. My neighbor just spoke, and I've been there for 10 years. And much like everybody else that's been speaking, it was my life dream to move away from the city and start my family, which is exactly what we did. My wife and I moved in there a little over 10 years ago, and 2 days later my first child was born, and that's all my kids know is our way of life. You know, we're not a giant ranch by any means, but we have our fence and our gate, and we keep to ourselves, and we keep all the craziness and noise away from us, which is why we moved there. So just wanted to voice that I am against the annexation as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to jump in for just a minute because I have our legal counsel, Michael Walker, on the line. He did look into our policy, and earlier I had noted that I believe her name was Lisa, could submit a ballot, and Michael, it was Susan. I'm sorry, that Susan could submit a ballot. So Michael, can you unmute yourself? Or I think he is unmuted.
Yes, can you hear me, Michelle?
Yes.
Yes, as you're aware, the LAFCO Commission adopted policies at a special meeting last month governing protest hearings. And in that policy, it required that any email ballots be submitted by 5 p.m. the day before the protest hearing. Therefore, under your delegated authority, the executive officer is not allowed to accept email protests today. Any protest today must be delivered in person at the protest hearing.
Thank you, Michael. And if there's anyone else online or in person, please come up.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Mall. I'm a community member, graduate of Lincoln High School, and my kids currently attend Lincoln High School. I know this annexation project is currently including the Lincoln High School or Western Placer Unified School District farm. I can't speak for the district because I'm not their representative tonight, but there were lots of questions. I do serve on the Farm Foundation Committee for that farm, and there were lots of questions raised around why the farm was included in the annexation and the effects it would have on the operations that are happening at the farm and future operations that that could be incorporated in the farm. I'm not sure that the ag overlay would be sufficient, as it is an educational facility. And so I don't know all the details, and there was really no one that could answer the details for us when one of our staff members asked about future operations and if we were to change those. And I'm not sure the ag overlay would encompass all of that. So either way, however this goes tonight, I would encourage all of you to really look at that. It's a huge asset, and I'm not sure that anybody here understands how big of an asset it is to not only our community, but our county. It is, as to my knowledge, it's the biggest school farm in the United States. And so I think we should really be cognizant of how that is dealt with. And I'm not saying, again, that the district is for or against it, but I do think it really needs to be looked at, and that when there's questions asked of how that's going to affect, that those answers need to be found. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Amy, there's a Q&A. Oh, I see. Thank you.
Hi, again, this is Connie, and I already spoke, but based on what your attorney said, there was a couple of protests that got emailed after 5. So I have the originals that
Oh,
I'm turning in now.
Thank you. Perfect. If you don't mind, yes, sending it to. Thank you very much. Hey, if there's no one else. Okay, I'm going to close the protest, I'm sorry, the public comment period. So the next step requires the LAFCO Commission to confirm the outcome of today's proceeding by adopting a resolution at their next regular meeting, which is November 8, 2023. The Placer County Register of Voter, as you were introduced to Ryan and his staff earlier, they will be here. They will be verifying signatures, and we may be able to announce the preliminary results of the outcome. Again, it's preliminary because the commission has to receive the report and then adopt the resolution. So you are welcome to stay and wait for the announcement, but the protest hearing is now closed. And thank you for attending today's protest hearing in person and online. Ryan, do you know how long approximately?
10 minutes, but I think it's actually going to be a little bit less than that. Just as a point of clarification, those emailed ballots that just were handed into us. We have a note that you had prepared for us that said received after packet was sent to elections 10/3 or 10/31. So I guess we just need to get clarification as to whether those were you received that at before 5 o'clock yesterday, or if they came in after 5 o'clock yesterday.
Oh, sorry, just a second. Amy will.
Okay.
I believe it was 4:30 before Amy left for the day, but.
Okay. Yeah, we just want to get clarification on that.
So the emails that we received yesterday came in before 5, correct? The
those
one.
those two emailed ones. It looks like it might have been 5:30, but
Oh, the time.
yeah.
Thank
okay.
you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Sorry,
That's okay.
Thank
No,
you.
we got it. We got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know, it was Halloween.
Commission, can we ask a question of council? If Michael has.
Oh, there he is.
Hi, Michael.
Sure.
Hey, regarding those two ballots that we were just discussing, these that were emailed after 5 p.m. yesterday and received after 5 p.m., but the original ballots were just handed in. Do the voters have to be here in person, or can we have those ballots be counted as part of that protest?
You may count the 2 that were hand delivered to you today by Ms. Scheiber.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I had to. So as I've sorry, we had 106 registered voters in the proposal area. So 53 and above is what would be required to terminate the proceedings. So I'll have Ryan Bronco announce the preliminary results.
So the elections office determined based on the signatures for the registered voters that there are 64 valid protests that came in. And I don't know that this matters, but if it makes Susan, I believe it was Susan, feeling better. We only have one Susan in the affected area, and we have a counted ballot here for that Susan. I don't know if that was that same Susan that was speaking or not, but you know, so gotcha. So yeah, so she was good. So maybe that will make her feel a little better. So. Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. So yeah, so 64 is out of the 65 that we were presented with.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. No.